Riveting content. Empowering your life. Welcome to The Sphere. This episode is sponsored by Houston Housewives of Finance. For more information on increasing your cash flow, becoming your own money manager, and to schedule your complimentary personal finance strategy, contact the Houston Housewives of Finance today at 1-844-700-4463.
The Sphere Network. Looking to advertise? Join the Sphere's vast demographic reach of thousands of people all over the world. Send an email today at advertise@thesphere.tv or call us at area code 832-772-7789. Elite Dental Wellness. At Elite Dental Wellness, Dr. Ashandra Baptiste understands that one of the biggest obstacles is dental fear. The vision at Elite Dental Wellness is to ensure every patient is treated with respect, ultimate care, patience, and love. Call us today to make an appointment at area code 713-789-8680.
What's up, good people? Welcome back to Technocrats, where we talk about the ins and outs of technology to empower the digital you. I'm your host, Gary Lee, also known as G Hawkins. Of course, you can find me anywhere online: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, at your mama's kitchen for Thanksgiving, at G Hawkins. That's G Hawkins with a Z. And I'm with the lovely Ari McKinney. Ari, how are you today, my dear?
I'm doing well. How are you today?
I am frustrated but excited, and there's something I forgot to put on the runner show. I just thought about it. I just got all excited.
He's bringing new things on me here, folks. Live right
I got
now.
something new. I was sitting with my homegirl in the gym, and we were talking this morning, and she said something that reminded me to buy something this morning. And I'm on a treadmill like, wait a minute, I got to make this purchase. And so I'm literally trying to buy this because I know it's going to run out.
Now I'm intrigued.
So I know, right? So I'm going to talk about it. That's a teaser, folks. Y'all rock with me.
I don't even know, folks. I have no idea what's happening.
I'm going to bring this in either late Facebook or post Facebook. So you got to subscribe to get this one. So I'm just saying. But yeah, I'm so happy. How about my whole attitude?
It really actually did, y'all.
I just realized I'm getting
I want
new
y'all to
toys.
know that this is not like literally T-minus like 2 minutes ago.
I'm getting
The G
toys.
Hawkins that we had in the
New
studio.
toys. All right, so let me
let's
be
get at it.
serious.
Let's get to it.
There's a lot of serious tech going on right now. You good though?
I'm okay. I moved. Y'all know how it is when you move.
Yeah.
It's a good
cool.
it's like a whew, but then it's like there's a lot.
I see you.
There's a lot.
I see you.
Okay, so I'm dealing with a lot of like all the things and just unpacking it. I'm not the type of person that deals well with clutter and things everywhere. Like everything has its place for me. So I'm.
Yeah. I get it. I'm just saying.
If I had a robot right now.
If you had a robot.
That I could be like, do this. Folks, let me be here to
do this.
I would do it right now.
Well, no robot yet.
No robot yet.
There's a lot of great things that are happening in technology.
Great things that are happening. You and I are here to talk all about it.
Exactly. And a lot of questionable things happening.
Yes.
So, folks, dive in with us. Here we are, Technocrats. Let's rock out. We're going to start with the news.
Let's do it.
So, here in the news, we've got something that's really, really interesting with Google and some sexism claims. Looks like thousands of employees across the world, we're talking Asia, Europe, North America, are out protesting for sexism issues, racism issues, and unchecked executive powers in their workplace. Now, Ari, I'm going to pivot this to you only because I want to have a deeper conversation and briefly talk a little bit about your experience in the workplace as a woman, let alone an African-American woman, but as a woman in the workplace.
Yes, and I will even I will narrow that down even a little bit
Sure.
more specifically to so for those of you who don't know, I started as a community manager for Square.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all know them, the credit card readers you plug into your phone, or the Cash App, all that good stuff. I then became their national event marketing / business development manager. So I was traveling all over the country on behalf of Square. So I will say this, my position was a little different in that I was not in their, headquarters every day dealing with the engineers and stuff every day. But my position was also unique in that I was part of a team of 6, and we were the first team to ever exist whose purpose was to be outside of that headquarters and to really bridge that connection between the users of the software and the devices to, corporate.
Yeah.
And there was a time when I had to fight just to get business cards because I had to justify nobody. So in Square, and I can only speak specifically to this company, but Square, so no one had business cards. No one had really official titles. No one had a specific office. Even Jack Dorsey did not have a specific office. He would meet us, he'd be in the kitchen pouring his Fruit Loops and stuff in the morning like everybody else. And the ideology there was that, everybody should be able to express their ideas, or if they have, if they're walking by a conference room and they see something going on and they're like, hey, I know something that can help with that, that it should be open door policy. Did that work in practice? No. Did that work in practice especially for women? No. It is very intimidating to feel like you are a part of that policy when there is no one that looks like you. So most of the women, I don't know of any woman engineer at all that was there. I was not an engineer, but I also had a unique position there. So I was there regularly when new products came out. I was there when the Cash App first launched and was one of the people that kind of helped shape, so my job was kind of what are people in the field saying about what they can use? And so I can say this about the position. It's not for the faint of heart if you're a woman. It's not for the faint of heart if you're a man, but it's definitely not for the faint of heart if you're a woman. It's hard. There isn't anyone that looked like me. I think there was maybe one other black woman that I could point out on the San Francisco campus, period. And she was one of my colleagues. So I can't say that was fairly represented in there are no engineers. I didn't know one female engineer. Most of the engineers are of color, were of Asian descent. It's a hard thing to navigate because you are always fighting. And for someone who is of color or a minority and is kind of used to that, it's that same thing, but it's almost amplified a bit because that tech hub becomes a microcosm, right? And so it's a very small representation of what you deal with in everyday life anyway, but it's very much contained in that way. So you deal with it almost more and more in a in your face kind of way than you would just in everyday life. So it's difficult and it's not for everybody. And I had moments where I was like, do I really want to fight constantly to have to prove that do I want to do that? And so I see why. I think that's a double-edged sword. I think that's part of the reason why there isn't a lot of minority representation in tech companies, just because it's God, do I want to have to do this again?
The constant battle. Well, I applaud what the employees of Google, and obviously these are women and men.
Yeah, this is huge.
That are out here protesting.
This is huge.
And on this article that we've got, you can see some of the signs here: workers' rights or women's rights, times up, tech, and these are things that are really, really important that people need to realize. Google is
these
a
are valid
industry.
Points, folks.
Yeah.
Like the experience for a woman in tech is not the same. It's not the same, and it's hard enough as it is. I mean, you hear all these reports of men talking about the demands on their hours, their work week, things of that nature. I mean, I was one of these people. I was breastfeeding when I was working at Square, and I had to be like, can I have a room for this? I literally flew my child with me to training, like, and flew my mom to San Francisco so that I could be there to train on new product knowledge while I was breastfeeding and not miss that step. That's a part of your life. So we give so many sacrifices, and to not recognize that, or to, minimize the contribution that women, the role that we play in tech, it's frustrating. And so I am there with you ladies. I get it. I've been there. And I think it's amazing.
Yeah. Keep fighting, Google.
Keep fighting.
Konnichiwa, Clinton. We see
fighting.
You, my G.
I'm here with you.
And definitely Google is a global power. So how they treat their employees, women, men, different minorities or majorities, different ethnicities, from people in different regions all across the world, that matters, and other companies will
huge implications.
They will follow suit.
Huge implications. Y'all.
So let us know
fighting.
what you all think about that. Hit us up, Technocrats at thesphere.tv via email or across social media. Okay, I'm gonna stick in what I got excited for. Simply, well, I guess I can't stick in what I got excited for because I just got paused by Magic Mike. So
yes, Magic Mike. So this portion of the show is sponsored by Houston Housewives of Finance. Did you know that only 4 states in the United States offer financial education? 33%, or more than 77 million of Americans, don't pay their bills on time. 39% of Americans carry credit card debt from month to month, and 39% of adults say they don't have enough savings. Don't become one of these statistics, folks. Let Houston Housewives of Finance advise you on increasing your cash flow and becoming your own money manager by scheduling your complimentary personal financial strategy. Contact Houston Housewives of Finance today at 1-844-700-4463 or email us at info@houstonhousewivesoffinance.com. Ask us how you can participate in a complimentary financial literacy workshop near you. Houston Housewives of Finance are the new faces of the new age of financial services.
there it is. Shout out to
Ching,
Houston
ching.
Housewives of Finance. Love them ladies. They're out there working in there, and they are
Doing it.
everywhere, not just in Houston, but they're in New York, DC, LA.
Yes.
They are across this
Call them,
country.
email them.
So I want to talk about something really quickly.
Let's
It
do
wasn't
it.
on the Runner Show. I just added
Here we
it.
go.
I get excited.
He does this to me more often
Yeah.
than you think, folks.
Exactly. Let's migrate into our Mobility Weekly. We're there, folks.
We're here.
There it is.
Everywhere. Because it's mobile.
Yeah, with the little sound effects. I love it. So, Mobility Weekly, this is where we talk about anything that happens on the mobile aspect, things that you carry with you to take across your digital landscape. One of the best things about today, November 1st, shout out to Scorpio. It's
Hello,
Scorpio
season.
It's Scorpio
My season just ended.
Yeah, but very important, folks. Today is the first day that you can purchase the OnePlus 6T. I'm so excited. I can't deny it. I need that song.
I see.
Come
I
on,
see. You're
come on,
so,
come on. I love
so very happy.
This morning I was like,
talk about for the folks who are clueless.
This
talk
is
about because there's a lot of us.
this
talk
is
about what's going on.
This is the Android phone of Android phones. So
Apparently,
let me say this. When I talk to people all
It's
the
the Holy
time
Grail.
about when I talk to people about smartphones, when I talk to people about devices, people ask me what do I use. For the last 4 years strong, I said OnePlus, and they're like, what is that? And I'm like, it's the best Android device you can purchase. Why? From a price perspective, from a spec perspective, it is everything, and it's as close to AOSP, as close to stock Android as you're going to get. We've got an article here for you. I'm going to roll through it really, really quickly. This phone starts at $549.
What?
$549, but we're talking about $549 with 6 gigs of memory, 128 gig hard drive, 1080p screen, Snapdragon 845, which is some of the fastest, 16 plus 20 megapixel dual camera on the back, and one of the first phones to include an in-display fingerprint reader, meaning it reads your fingerprint on the screen, folks. You're not finding smartphones that do this out the back because a lot of people aren't putting the money into the technology, and it still does the same facial recognition, so that unlocks your phone with the quickness, and the notch is so minimalized at the top. but we're talking about at $549. This phone is as fast, if not faster, than the $1,000 Samsung out the box phones. Plus the Android experience is darn near stock. This is the best Android phone on the market. Do not play yourself. If you're looking for an Android device, get your hands on a OnePlus 6T. Boom. That's it. I ain't even got to talk anymore about it because I'm gonna do a unboxing. In my hands right now, though, in my hands, I've got the OnePlus 5T. I've been rocking this for over a year. I skipped the OnePlus 6 because I literally want to wait for the OnePlus 6T. I really don't even need to upgrade. My phone is still super fast, and I've had it for over a year. It's a dope phone. OnePlus 6T, folks, $579 or $549 base price. Put your hands on it. And I misspoke. $549 is the 64 gig. $579, $30 more, is the 128 gigs. For $30 more, they doubled the memory on it, and takes you up to 8 gigs of speed versus 6 gigs of RAM. So this is, without saying, the phone to grab if you're on the Android side.
For sure.
So that's what it is.
There you go, Android folks.
I just did it for y'all. Just
That
Erlene,
was
I
for
appreciate
you.
your thumbs
That
up.
was for you.
Oh yeah, Monique, I see you. Yeah, it's a toy. Whatever, Mo. Stop hating. 6.4 inches on the screen. AMOLED. It's a fire device. So let's move over to some somewhat exciting news.
Oh, okay.
Still in Mobility
I know where we're
Weekly.
going then, since there's a detect a little
A little hate.
little hateration.
Yeah,
It's okay.
I'm gonna keep it a buck though.
It's all right.
Let's move over to good old Apple.
Apple.
We've got new iPads, folks. We've been waiting for this for years.
A long time.
Finally, we've got the new iPad Pros. We've got new MacBook Airs. I'm actually going to start with, we've also got new Mac Mini. Let's start really quickly with the MacBook Air.
Yes.
Let's hop into it. The MacBook Air has been revived.
Oh.
This is coming in at a $1,200 price point from Apple. Super thin, just like you love it. This is the device to get if you're looking to get into an Apple laptop that's going to give you a Force touchpad. You're going to get an i5 processor, 128 gigs of SSD memory or RAM or hard drive. But however you want to slice it or dice it, we're talking about the fast booting drives, solid state drives that are installed into these MacBooks. And you're coming with Mojave, OS, the latest version of OS 10,
Yes.
Mojave. I'm here for it. Plus, here's the benefit of the MacBook Air, right? I love the fact that they added the Touch ID on it.
It's
so
amazing.
You can just unlock the device with your fingerprint. You don't have to wait for your watch to sync to it. You don't have to put in a password. Put your fingerprint on it. Done deal. Keep it popping. MacBook Air 2018, $1,200, Retina display, 13-inch.
I know a lot of people that love this because, for those that don't want to necessarily commit to a really expensive MacBook or something like that, you can do a lot with it.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like get you a keyboard, you can do a lot. It's gotten so good now that it can almost replace your laptop.
Wait,
Depending
wait, you talking about the iPad or you talking about MacBook Air?
I'm talking about the iPad.
Okay.
Being able to it overlaps so much with between the lower end MacBooks.
So I want to, and you're right, and I want to get to that. I'm gonna save I'm gonna hop into the iPad at the end because I really want to have a conversation with you about that.
Okay.
But I want people to know MacBook Air. If you're looking for a new entry level MacBook,
go with that.
The MacBook Air. Let me say this. Let me keep it a buck. I use a MacBook Pro at home, right? I use a Windows device when I'm out. I rock with an Android. I use all the ecosystems, all of them. I would buy this new MacBook Air if I was looking for a full-fledged laptop. This would be. I would not get the new Windows Surface 6 that we talked about not too long ago.
Right,
I would get the MacBook
about
Air
3 weeks ago.
Yes.
And then that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, if you're thinking like you want to, it depends obviously on what you're doing with it. But if you just need kind of basic, run-of-the-mill laptop stuff, I would look at this with a keyboard.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You know what
So MacBook Air, it's here now.
It's here.
Moving gears.
Yeah.
Apple's finally updated the Mac Mini. So if you're looking for a desktop to get in, starting November 7th availability. So we're talking about next week availability. $799 entry-level price point for the i5 8th-gen processor. You know, they're pushing out, starting with 8 gigs of RAM, 128 gig SSD with a T2 chip for security purposes. But it's got all your favorite ports. So we're talking USB-C because that's their new new claim to fame.
Yes.
The USB-C ports which is also Thunderbolt 3,
yes.
HDMI, Ethernet, and of course this Mac Mini does have 2 standard USB-A ports as well.
Yes.
So if you've got your standard
I use the
printers,
Mac Mini at home.
yeah, I have one but I don't use it anymore. It was so old, I just stopped using it. But $799 entry if you want a Mac desktop. That's with the Mac Mini. And now let's dive a little deeper here with the iPad Pro. Now, Clinton, yes, it's quite frisky. Arlene, yes, we understand you're not an Apple fan, but hey, there's a lot of people that love these devices, and I understand why. They bring about a great user experience.
And we try to give an equal, I will say that I am the Apple enthusiast at the table, for sure. Like, I'm not going to talk about Android because I don't use them. I haven't used them, and I don't know how long don't have any intention to. But you have a unique perspective in that you use all the platforms for different purposes. So, Eileen, we try to give you a roundabout, but just know that, like, if I'm talking, it's gonna be from the Apple perspective. But
and I'm a wider perspective. I was using the iPad last night.
Thank you for the insight.
Using the iPad last night. So. But guess what, folks? Before we hop into this iPad, Facebook Livers, we love you. We support y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. But you've got to subscribe to get the rest of this, honey. You got to subscribe. Head over to sphere.tv/Technocrats. We've got a few options. iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, YouTube, Stitcher, Spreaker, iHeartRadio. You can even find us in your grandmother's kitchen on that Amazon Alexa. Yes. We are anywhere podcasts can be found. And, of course, share with your family, your friends, your colleagues. Share with your loved ones. Share with your haters. No, Arlene, no death to Apple. We don't want to see that. Share this podcast out with anyone you know that enjoys the technological experience that they get and that joy that rolls through their digitized veins. And also give us that constructive criticism. We want to know how we're doing. Let us know how to build a better show for you. And last but not least, folks, when I tell you, we are ramping up our exclusive content that's just going to be on Patreon. So please rock with us. We're working on getting our Patreon popping, and we're going to have 3 different tiers. We're going to have a $2 tier for those that want to support us, donate to our cause. We're going to get some behind-the-scenes stuff. We're going to have a $5 tier for those that want access to all of our exclusive content. This is going to be a monthly subscription via Patreon. And, of course, we're going to have a $10 tier where we're going to be doing some Sphere TV stuff, where you're going to get direct content, be able to get all the episodes live there. We're going to do some other live events that will only be on the Sphere TV aspect. So we're going to have Patreon popping with a bunch of different stuff. You've got to go subscribe at the Patreon, baby. And if you want to do a one-time donation, you can do that right on the website. That's the sphere.tv/donate. Both single donation and Patreon-based stuff. So guess what, folks? The show is not over. So make sure you subscribe, because we're talking Tesla with the new Summon feature that turns your car into almost like a radio-controlled car. We're talking the Apple TV launch. They've got subscription services. Yes. We're talking about the ethics of self-driving cars and the importance of that. So we've got a great show for you. Make sure you subscribe right here at The Sphere. Let's keep this party going. So, iPad Pros.
Yes.
Holy guacamole.
Wow.
Whoa. Let's walk into it. And Mike, feel free to click on those links, because it'll take you to another article within that article. And that's why I'm doing it in that order. So the iPad Pro 2018. Yo, first and foremost, like we teased earlier, no Lightning port.
None.
USB-C port. How do you feel about that with all the Lightning port cables you got?
I feel it has to start somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And as I said, I think last week, I am totally down for the switch over, because once it happens, it'll be so much easier for everyone, because it'll be so interchangeable, and it won't just be like, okay, I've got this for all my Apple devices. Like, I've got it for pretty much everything.
I agree.
I'm okay with it.
I agree.
I'm okay with it. I am unbothered.
I'm here for all of it.
Completely unbothered.
I'm here for all of it. So
I think non-Apple people will be bothered by it more so than
We'll see.
than Apple people, but that's, who knows.
And here's the other big thing that's missing, folks. The home button. Finally,
Yes,
Apple
the
has
home
said
button.
we're going to do what we did for our phones to our iPads. We're going to make them larger. We're going to take the bezel and shrink it, remove the home button, and go strictly to Face ID. Now, we're talking, this thing is roughly about a little under 6 millimeters in thickness,
Right.
but you've got such a smaller bezel now that you've got more screen real estate, pushing it up to 11 inches in the same body of the 10.5 inch iPad Pro. So you're getting a lot more real estate just by removing that home button and moving things up. Obviously, it's faster. You've lost the headphone port. Keep that in mind,
There is
right?
that.
So no
There
headphone
is that,
jack either as well. And then they've got all your standard sensors. Price point wise, we're talking coming in at $799 at the $800 mark, starting off and rolling that puppy all the way up to the, what was it, $1,600? $1,699. Yeah. I mean, it rolls.
I'm okay with the $800 price point. I am.
I'm actually am too.
Like, I'm okay with that.
And so it's like, do I spend $800 on an iPad Pro, or do I spend $1,200 on the MacBook Air?
Right.
And if the MacBook Air had touchscreen, what would I do?
What would I do?
Or is the iPad Pro 12.9 inch, 13 inch, is that really the MacBook Air without a full keyboard?
I feel like
attached?
yes.
You know?
I feel like it is. So I feel like they're not so good at doing it with the phones, but I feel like with their iPads, they're really good, and they're like, laptops, they're kind of good at almost overlapping, where the products become, it's kind of like they do that, right? Where it's like, I could get this iPad Pro, I could add a keyboard to it, I could do this, do that, and then probably come out to around the same once you do that as a laptop. So what do I do, right? I mean, I think for people who are wondering that question, I think the main thing is like, what do you do with your device? You know? Are you editing photos? Are you just surfing the net? Are you, reading books? Like, what are you doing?
That's a great question.
So, I mean, because what I've found is from a designer, like from a digital marketing perspective, the laptops, the MacBooks are a better purchase. There's just some things that an iPad can't do. Yeah. Even though it's a killer iPad and you can hook it up to to a keyboard, and it's essentially a laptop, it still isn't in some of the ways that really matter to a lot of creative folks. Yeah. So if you're a creative, I would personally, based on my experience, say that it would probably behoove you to not go with the iPad. But if you're not, and you're using it for relatively standard things, I would say save your couple hundred pennies and maybe go with the iPad. But I would say, like, really think about what your usage of it is gonna be, because that really is a determining factor.
I think it's a heavy question, and
is.
I would like to, I want to see what happens. I'm interested. I'm let me just keep it a buck. I'm interested. I don't know if I would pull the trigger, because I think I'm leaning more towards the new Pixel book that we discussed a few weeks back. Not Pixel book, Pixel Slate.
The Pixel Slate.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go that route, because I need something closer to my phone for how I'm planning on using that device. And I don't need a full laptop replacement right now.
Right, and that's how I feel about iPads, which is why I don't have one. I will say this: I have rarely in my life had an iPad. Like, when I was working at Square and I had to, I had an iPad. I find them to be more cumbersome than a phone, and not enough for what I personally need to do as a laptop. So to me, they're kind of useless. Yeah. Which is why I say the main thing is, folks, as always with anything, don't listen to the hype. Don't listen to what everybody else is getting, what's popular, whatever. Think about what you need to use your device for, and purchase based on that and that alone, because that will save you a whole lot of headache
Well, we'll see.
We'll
see
see,
how
though.
this goes. Like I said, I'm interested in
So am
grabbing putting my hands on this new iPad Pro.
Maybe we can.
I don't. I don't know. We'll see. I've strategically said I wasn't going to buy an iPad until they remove the home button. So here's the opportunity.
go.
But I wasn't expecting this new Pixel Slate. So we'll see. We'll see what happens, folks. Let us know.
Let us know.
Are
If
y'all
you,
planning on
if you
buying?
guys have gotten one or the other, let us know what you think.
Yeah, if you're planning on buying a new iPad, we want to hear from you. If you plan on using that iPad, shoot us a tweet. Tweet
Please
us
do.
over at the Sphere TV.
On the Twitterverse.
Use the hashtag Technocrats. That way we can get an idea of if you're planning on rocking with this new iPad Pro.
Right.
Speaking of rocking, come rock with us because this particular portion of the show is sponsored by us right here at the Sphere. So are you starting your business or looking for a place to advertise? Do you have a need to reach out to thousands of people across the world to build your brand or sell your product? If so, get your product placement and advertising needs handled right here at the Sphere. We offer a wide variety of content delivery platforms, including iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, YouTube, and Stitcher. Plus, we have a vast demographic reach within the United States as well as modern countries across the globe. Our enriched content and inspiring dialogue coupled with your strategic ad is surely to hit the mark every time. Call us today at area code 832-772-7789 or shoot us an email over to advertise@thesphere.tv. So, shots fired. Keeping on the Apple train, I'm a proponent. Apple, keep doing your thing. Looks like they've got something new that's coming down the pipe, Ari.
Yes.
And I'm loving what you brought to the table today. Apple's launching a new global TV service in over 100 plus countries, with the U.S. set to debut in early 2019.
Yes.
What's going on here, Ari? What can we expect from Apple?
So, Apple is entering the subscription TV business, which I think all of us that have been, well, at least for me, I can speak for myself, but I think I've heard this from a lot of Apple enthusiasts that we've been waiting for a while to, like, try to wonder, we've been wondering, are they going to throw their hat in the kind of Netflix, Amazon, TV video kind of game? And apparently the answer to that question is a yes. So, here are the similarities and differences compared to what's already out there, right?
Okay.
So it'll be similar to, Netflix, Amazon, Hulu. The difference is this is only available to Apple TV customers. Of course. Is anyone surprised about that?
Not at all.
Are you surprised about that?
No,
I'm not surprised about that.
I'm actually okay with it.
I'm okay with it too.
I got an Apple TV.
Me too.
I'm good.
That's how I felt about it.
I'm
As
good.
soon as I heard it, I was like, you know what? It affects me not at all.
Not at all.
It affects me in a good way, because if you're already rocking the Apple TVs, this is so seamless and easy for you, because you can still access your Netflix, your Amazon. You don't have to give up anything you already have, right? It just gives you access to content that they will be producing on their own, network, like Amazon and Netflix and Hulu have their own original content. It'll be the same. Where they run into the hiccup is that because Amazon and Netflix specifically have been in the game for so much longer than Apple, there are certain countries that have exclusive, deals with either or of these companies. So there are certain countries where, Netflix has a contract where they will be exclusive to Netflix, so Apple won't be able to penetrate those markets.
And that's fine. Yeah, I think Apple will be okay.
I don't think they care.
Yeah. What that makes me also think about is the fact that we've seen this push for people to go direct to consumer, right?
Right.
Disney has started to remove all of their items from
Yes.
Netflix because they're getting ready to launch their own service. We
Much
talked about it
to-
a few weeks.
much to the sadness of my
couple months ago.
5-year-old.
Yeah, I'm sure it's heavy.
It
You know,
is.
no, sad tears.
It really is,
But
y'all.
I'm like, I see what they're doing, and everything becomes a la carte to the consumer. If I want to watch Marvel movies at home, I may have to pay Disney $4 a month, $5 a month.
Now,
Well, hold on. Let me hop into that because
Yeah.
I'm going to dive a little deeper. What that also means is now there's a fight to create content. This is the opportunity a lot of people are missing. So if you are a content creator, a podcaster, a YouTuber, people who really take their craft serious, you're going to have these companies that are looking for premium content. And Apple even makes mention that, hey, we've got to find these tentpole like shows because this is how Netflix grew up with Daredevil, Stranger Things, shows that was specific, Game of Cards, House of Cards, excuse me, that was specific to this platform that you could only get here. Orange is the New Black, that made you say, you know what, I'll pay. Here's $7 a month for your streaming only. Here's $10 a month for streaming plus Blu-ray.
Right.
It's worth it.
So what I was, it goes on into that. I think that a lot of consumers' concerns could be, you know, okay, so now if everyone starts going down this path, and I'm paying, let's say, $5 to $10, then at what point am I paying like I am with cable?
You're back to cable,
right? Are we not back to cable?
Look on your Apple TV. You got CBS app.
You got
you
CBS
got
app. You got
Stars.
NBC app. You've got ABC app.
Yeah,
right? You've got all these
you're
apps.
paying.
You're paying, right? And so even with NBC, like I've got certain shows on there I love, like Single Parents, one of my new favorite shows. I love that show. So, but it's like on NBC, you get you sign up for a new account, you get 3 credits, which is essentially 3 shows that you get to watch for free. Other than that, you got to wait for a week, right? ABC.
Which one was that?
NBC. So NBC,
Credits.
you can, yes. So you sign up for a new account. All you do is put in your email. They don't recognize it. It's a new email. Cool. You get 3 credits. So that allows you to watch shows as they come out right then, as opposed to waiting a week when they become free.
But you choose the shows you want to watch.
Correct.
And you always have access to watch those.
Now, once you go through those 3, you don't have any more credits. So
no. But what I'm saying is
yes,
the 3
once you
credits-
watch them, you have access to watch that show over, if that's what you're asking. Okay.
So the 3 credits are the credits utilized for episodes
Per
or
episode.
So you can watch.
So it's
3
not a
episodes.
season. Yeah, it's not like you get to pick
Gotcha.
a show and you get that
Yeah,
for the
3
season.
shows.
No, you get 3
episodes.
you get 3 episodes
Okay.
of anything.
Okay.
Right? So I mean, it's a teaser. But then the thing with ABC, like them, you just gotta wait. Like if you don't have a cable subscription of some sort or a Sling subscription or a DirecTV or whatever it is, Uverse, you've got to then just wait for a week, and there's not even an option to pay for that. So pardon me, I've used Sling like for a while.
Yeah.
I like them. But even them, I mean, if you start adding on, you know, once you get
Same
to the point
stuff.
where you have everything you want,
You're cable.
the only thing that you're then like, you know, the only benefit of that is that there's no contract. And if you're just like, I don't want this anymore, you can take off it. Like, let's say I'm a Game of Thrones fan, right? Other than Game of Thrones, I don't really have anything on HBO that I watch that hardcore that I need it. So like from like April through whenever Game of Thrones ends, I'm going to get HBO, but I don't want it after that.
Yeah.
That's one of the benefits to like, you know, an Apple TV subscription or something like that, is that you have no contracts. So you can kind of pick and choose and customize what's going on for like what seasonal watching you're personally in.
Well,
But so there are pros and cons to it, but
I'm here for it.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, more competition.
If you're already on an Apple TV, this will affect you not at all. It'll pretty much, other than getting stuff that other people can't, which I think Facebook is even entering this realm now because they
Facebook
want
Watch.
Facebook Watch,
Yeah.
right?
So I would also take into account for those who have Apple IDs already via iCloud.
Yes.
For those that are in the space of Apple Music,
And
be
podcasts, don't
be
forget
on
us.
be on the lookout for emergence of a seamless transition from your Apple Music account possibly to this Apple streaming TV account. You may
Right.
have one account that gives you access to both the movie side as well as the music.
Right.
Stay tuned for
Yes,
that.
this is going to be an interesting development. See how they position themselves to be kind of in that same sphere, but different,
Yeah.
right? So, folks, This portion of the show is sponsored by Elite Dental Wellness. At Elite Dental Wellness, our vision is to create a welcoming practice that will offer exceptional dental care and a lifetime of dental wellness. We are committed to the finest possible oral care and the overall health and well-being of our patients. Elite Dental Wellness is built upon a foundation of integrity, expertise, and service. Through our commitment to modern dentistry, continuing education, and friendly atmosphere, we strive to make our patients feel that they are part of our family. Dentistry can be scary, daunting, and uncomfortable. Dr. Batiste and her team work tirelessly to ensure your comfort. Make your appointment today with Dr. Ashandra Batiste at Elite Dental Wellness by calling 713-789-8680.
There it is. Shout out to them and her and all of that. Okay, so I forgot to tell y'all that we are in our digital trends.
Yes,
So-
we are. Beep, boop, beep,
In
beep.
R2D2. So moving right along through the Apple TV service over to our next digital trend brings us to the idea of ethics.
Oh, here
and
we go.
we've had conversations here about algorithms being written, about things that happen behind the scenes, and how non-biased can people be when it comes to presenting technology that has an artificial intelligence component that is based off of human intelligence,
Like,
right?
can you actually program a non-biased robot, essentially, is what
Indeed.
it comes down to. Because if the programmer, which we all have our inherent biases as humans, can you then create a program that circumvents all that if the person writing it has biases?
Indeed. So
Right.
this brings us to our article here. Should self-driving cars have ethics?
Yes.
Ethics. Ari, talk a little bit about this. Where do you sit with this? Should they have ethics?
Well, before I say where I sit with it, let's give a little background
Okay.
to the audience here about what we're really talking about, because it's a little different than what I just mentioned. We've kind of touched on things that have led up to this a bit, but now we're getting into specifically culturally speaking, mainly. So, for instance, studies have found, like in more collectivist societies, like Japan, for instance, right, where they tend to value their older members of society over their younger members of society. Like, if you program a car, right, and they know that they're about to be in an impending accident, and they have the ability to process and say, okay, well, in this, maybe, and I'm kind of theoretically saying, but essentially what it comes down to in a basic, let me give kind of a high level. Essentially, it comes down to, how do we create self-driving cars that think for themselves, that can, like, does it differ based on the culture that we're in? Like, will the ethical decisions that a self-driving car will have to make in Japan differ from somewhere that it'll have, like, the decisions it will have to make, like, here in the United States, right? So we're a more individualistic culture here. We tend to value younger lives over older lives. Like, we'll say, save the younger people, save the kids, those kinds of things. Places in Japan, it's not that way. So if, will a self-driving car in Japan decide that if an accident's, inevitable, and they can save this person over this person, how does it decide which person to save?
That's a heavy question.
And that's a really heavy question.
Because I don't even know.
I don't know
Based
either.
on the example that's in this article, I'm like, do I kill the driver?
The driver? Do I kill the pedestrian? Do I kill the
Yeah.
passenger?
Who do I run
Who
over?
do you run over?
in this vehicle?
Who do you not run over?
I'm a little.
It's scary.
I'm concerned.
Yes, that's a good.
Because-
That's a
Because
Minimal
there's-
word for
I don't
it.
know if there's a right answer in that.
there isn't. There
and,
isn't.
and the vehicle's not going to be able to determine with precision.
It's gonna be
age.
determined based on what it was programmed.
Well, that's what
do.
that's what I'm
Right?
alluding to. It's not going to be able to determine the age of the people that are walking. It's not going to be able to determine. For those that are listening right now, you listen to this, in your car right now, you listen to this. They're not going to know who you are, what your ethics are, what your
Right.
beliefs
How
are.
many
They're not
kids
gonna
you
know,
might have.
They're not going to know your
Anything.
current state, and this vehicle has to make the decision
And what's
of
the hierarchy?
how do I
we
kill
do, not just age, but then, like, somebody has kids versus they don't have kids? What if it's a family? You know, do you take out the mom and the dad? Do you save the kid? You know, do you save the mom but not the dad? And like, say, like, you know, what do you do in that instance? And it's one of these things that as technology in this particular realm is evolving, that we really have to think about, because, you know, then I mean, if we even go deeper than that, what happens if I'm a tourist and I'm traveling in Japan, right? And I'm in a self-driving car. It's just it could be mind-boggling to someone who's not from that culture. Like, what do you do? And then again, like you just mentioned, how does a car even know this is an old person versus a younger person? This is a married person versus a not. How does the car even determine these things? So when it comes to that kind of thing, it's very hard, and that's what programmers and coders and engineers and all these people that are working on, you know, the evolution of self-driving cars are working on right now. Is like, how do we do this in a way that is ethical and fair? And I don't know that there's an answer to that.
I don't know either. I honestly don't know either. Do you all know? For those
What do you guys think?
You know, what do you see the ethics at on
What
these
would you
self-driving cars?
and what would the value be? Like, if we had to sit down and say, for American-based, just given that we're all here and this is the culture we know, for American-based self-driving vehicles, what would be the top things that we would, you know, like where would you even start? Who would even do that? Excuse me, folks. So there's been debate even there from like, now, do we have a world governing body over you know, making these decisions, or is it based, you know, by country? Do we base it on region? How do we even figure out who should be making these decisions?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a lot, and these are the things, folks, I think we're going to be seeing so much more of as we evolve just technologically, because as these, you know, uncharted waters, you know, come about, we're gonna have to figure out kind of how we deal with it. And it's mind-blowing, because I don't have an answer for this. This was like something I read and I thought it should come up, just because I was like, whoa, this is something I don't even have an opinion on, because there's so many what ifs and not enough we've done this and this is what happens, that I can't even really say, well, like, fact-based how I would feel.
We'll find out.
We'll keep an eye on it,
because obviously self-driving cars are coming.
It's happening.
Autonomy when it comes to vehicles,
to machines,
is coming.
It's happening.
It's coming down the pipe, and it's coming fast. Speaking of coming fast, Tesla also has something that's coming fast to you all, and that's an upgrade for their summon feature. Now, for those that are unfamiliar with summon, and one of the reasons why this is a perfect lead-in from this ethical conversation, is Tesla has a feature now on all of their 2016 version 2.0 hardware, autopilot hardware and above vehicles. We're talking Model S, we're talking Model X, we're talking Model 3. They have a feature from your smartphone called Summon. Summon will open the garage door, back your vehicle out, and close your garage door. So basically, you can walk out your front door and your vehicle is outside waiting for you. It will also park itself. You can have it go in and park, open the garage door, move in, park, close the garage door behind it. It doesn't, you know, the understanding how it works is pretty straightforward, because one, your vehicle already has access to open up your garage door. Right. Now it's just utilizing its sensors so that it can know how far to put the car in and ensure that the car will park successfully with the garage door coming down behind it. They just upped the ante on Summon, and now this new version of Summon will almost, to some degree, allow you to control your car James Bond style. So within 6 weeks, Elon Musk has tweeted, he's on the us, saying that they're upgrading Summon, which will basically allow for the vehicle to follow you around a parking lot or drive around the parking lot by itself and find its own parking spot. And this is, let me quote him. He says the car will drive to your phone location and follow you like a pet if you hold down the summon button on a Tesla app. This is coming with a simple over-the-software update to all the cars right before Christmas.
Good Lord, Elon.
So
Can you just stop with all the bombshells right after one another?
I mean,
it's too much for me.
It's
I love it.
It's real rap.
No, I love it.
Because
That was fake outrage.
it was fake outrage, right? Right. This is going to be phenomenal for cars just to be able to drive around, get them a parking spot, come back, come to you.
Do you know how many times I lose my car? And they're like, I'm not kidding. I'm terrible at it. Like, it's my friends, it's a thing. Like, it's like, no, she's going to a shopping center.
Yeah.
She will be another hour because she won't find it. And you're right about that. I would use this so hard.
I mean, this is, and
so hard.
So the question becomes, right, let's think it out a bit. And as we wrap up the show, the question becomes, how far away from the vehicle are you going to be able to summon it?
Right. So, like, what if you're in a crowded mall, Christmas time, doing whatever, and there's no spots for, like,
well, exactly.
whatever. Like, what happens if it can't find one within its proximity? Does it just shut down?
And even outside of that, if you summon your car and let's say you've moved a mile away, will the car drive to you,
or will it even be able to read you?
Well, the vehicle
attached
can
to
read
the phone.
Well, the vehicle can read street signs already. They read street signs, and street signs show up in your.
But isn't it showing up to where you are based on your phone?
Yeah, it's based on. I'm about to answer your question. So it starts by the fact that it can read street signs. That's how this even available to work. Obviously, it can read inanimate objects and animate objects. Everything that's happening. But more importantly, to what you just asked, for those that are watching this, you're at home watching this right now on YouTube. This is the cars have the capabilities of looking at your GPS to come to your location, whatever the location is, based on, I guess, the proximity of where the car can stop and wait for you. This is literally the beginning of what we talked about. Was it last week, if not the week before last? We talked about the fact that Elon is getting ready to roll out a service
that allows your car to make money.
Uber-like functionality,
week.
Right?
Yes.
So now we're showing you, and this is basically the proof of concept, that this car can leave its parking spot and come get you. The car is coming to get you. So
like an Uber.
That's the beginning of this whole process.
And even like an Uber or Lyft, even now that we've evolved with this service so much, there are certain places, like if you're at NRG going to the game, there are Uber drop off and pick up locations because we can't just have people stopping and starting everywhere all over the place. So very similar to that, in that, it's like, yeah, we can read something and we might not be able to pick you up right there, but we're going to do it where it's safest. So I guess then don't let y'all's phones die while you're using it.
That's crazy, right? I guess the car just stops. It's like it's done.
Then it doesn't know what to do.
But let us know what you think. Shoot us an email, Technocrats at thesphere.tv. We've talked about a lot of different things today.
Controversial stuff today, y'all.
Especially with the ethics coming around. How are you going to feel about these?
What do you think about that?
Yeah, how are you going to feel about these Tesla owners who are out here summoning their vehicles that are leaving parking spots? Because you're going to see this.
I'd like to get a lawyer on here to figure out, now, what does that look like?
You're going to see cars before the end of this year pulling out of parking spots in malls.
I have a
everywhere.
video already that of a Domino's pizza car already doing it.
But I'm talking about these. You're
out.
Like
like in your regular mall.
In your regular,
like you're just out.
Within a month or and a half, you're gonna be out and about. You're gonna see cars driving themselves by you.
Are you guys gonna freak out like I will?
It's passing you in the parking lot. Or it's behind you, slowly behind you, because it doesn't want to run you over.
That's so crazy.
This is going to happen with less. But
and what happens
the
first time a car makes a mistake?
And we've seen mistakes
Who
already.
Sues then?
We've
what happens
seen that.
then?
So we'll keep it rolling.
We'll keep it going.
What a show, folks. It's been action-packed. Ari, where can the good people reach you at if they want to find out more information?
You can find me on all the social medias: Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, at Dish with Ari. Check me out. Ask me questions. I'm always looking for interesting articles and subject matters to bring to the round table every week. So feel free to tweet me, Facebook me, whatever it may be. Let me know if there's something interesting that you want me to discuss here, and we will talk about it.
There it is.
On Technocrats.
And of course, you can reach me anywhere online: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat at G Hawkins. That's G Hawkins with a Z. If you got any questions about what we do at the show, hit us on social media at The Sphere TV. Hit us on our Instagram. Hop in our
Please
DMs. We take some photos of your tech and send it to our DMs. We will whatever it's called. We'll repost your story on Instagram because we just want to shout you out for being faithful subscribers.
Yes.
And
to
listening.
all our current subscribers, thank you guys.
Yeah, and listening.
All our future subscribers, thank you guys too.
Yeah, for listening all the way through the
Appreciate
end
it.
of the show because that's important. So
Yes.
we'll see y'all next time right here at
Have
the
a good
Sphere.
week, y'all.
Peace.
Peace out.